Hello and welcome to this video. So before we get started with the actual content, I thought I would just introduce what this is. And this is a segment from a course that I created for the website Udemy, which is an introduction to Git, GitHub and GitHub Actions, and how these three tools work extremely well together to maintain version control over repositories, and also for CI pipelines and software development teams. These three tools are very useful. So it's a course that introduces these three tools. If you've never worked with them before, or you want to look into them and get an idea of how they work, you can find that course on Udemy. It's entirely free. So I've linked it in the description below. The entire course is also available here on YouTube. I've also linked a course that I created that focuses specifically on GitHub Actions. So if you want to dive deep into GitHub Actions itself, you can find a link to that course in the description as well. So I hope this video will be very helpful for you, and if you find the content is useful, please do like the video and perhaps subscribe to the channel to look for more course content in the future. Hello and welcome to this short course about Git, GitHub and GitHub Actions. The goal of this short course is to introduce these three tools to you and also to show you how they work together. Git and GitHub are without a doubt the most widely used version control tools today, and while GitHub Actions isn't quite that popular yet, it's certainly getting there. And so the goal of this course is to introduce these three tools to you, to show you what they do, how they work, what the benefits are that they offer, and then to also give you some hands-on exercise, a little bit of playing with these tools so you can get a little bit of a feel for what they do. Finally, we want to look at how they all come together, and you will see as we work through the exercises in this course how they all play their role in creating an effective version control system for your repositories, particularly for your code repositories. Now, what this course is not is a full dive into either or any of these tools. We just want to introduce them to show what they are. If you're looking for a deep dive into any of them, this is not that place, but you certainly can get a feel for them when you are working through this course. So let's jump in and look at what you can expect to learn as you work through this course. Hello and welcome to this lecture. Now in this session, I would like to just introduce what we are going to cover in this short course. Git, GitHub and GitHub Actions are three subjects that have quite a lot of topics within them, a lot of information and a lot that you can learn. We don't want to do all of that. We want to just introduce the fundamental basics for each of these topics. And I'd like to show you what exactly we're going to do and how we're going to go about doing it. So let's get started and see what we're going to cover. So firstly, why should you work through this course? Well, the reason I think this is worth your time is because Git is the industry standard for version control and allows developers to track changes in their code, collaborate seamlessly, and never lose their work. At the same time, GitHub is the most popular platform for hosting Git repositories, storing them somewhere safe. It enables team collaboration, it enables code sharing, and project management. This is particularly useful if you're part of a team that isn't all based in the same location, which is becoming quite common these days. And finally, GitHub Actions takes this a step further by introducing powerful automation and continuous integration workflows, which is really a game changer for productivity. And so these three topics come together quite nicely if you know how to use them. So, what will you learn in this course? We're going to cover the basics of Git. You'll understand how to track changes in your projects and how to manage your code like a pro. We'll also cover GitHub Essentials. This is where you will learn how to create and collaborate on repositories and take advantage of some of GitHub's powerful features that you will find in their user interface. And finally, I would like to show you some GitHub Actions fundamentals. This will give you hands-on experience with setting up your first automated workflow, and also will show you how you can bring everything from these three topics together. So, who is this course for? Well, I want to say it's for anybody really, but if I had to nail it down a bit more specifically, I would say if you're a beginner and you're new to programming or development, you'll definitely want to know about Git and how to use it. In the same way, you might be a developer who has never used Git or GitHub before, but you already have some experience in the developer field. This course will also be suitable for you to get going. And of course, anybody else who's curious about how automation in GitHub Actions works or any other component in this course, Git or GitHub. If you're curious about them, if you just want to know more about them, this is an easy, quick, and free way just to kind of get to grips with how they work. This course is structured into short, focused lectures, and there'll be plenty of hands-on demonstrations. So during this course, you will write and manage your own code with Git. You will create a repository and collaborate on GitHub, and we will set up and run workflows with GitHub Actions. You could, if you wanted to, just work through the course by watching it, but to get the most out of it, I would highly encourage you to actually do the exercises with me. I'm going to do them in real time in the lectures. They're not going to be pre-coded. They'll be done in real time. And I would encourage you to do that with me so that you can practice. So that's what the course is all about. In the next lecture, we're going to look at what you need to put in place in order to get started and, more importantly, to get the most out of this course. I'll see you there. Hello and welcome to this lecture. Now in this session, I would like to just briefly look at what you need in order to get the most out of this course. If your goal is to work with me on the exercises and to create some code and some repositories and sync that with GitHub and so on, then there are a few things you need to put in place in order to do that. So let's see what those are. So here's a basic checklist of what you need. Firstly, of course, you need a computer. It can be Windows or Mac or Linux-based operating system. Any of those are fine as long as you can install Git, which I'll show you how to do in a little bit, and that you can access the internet. Next, we'll be installing Git. Git is the version control software which we're going to use throughout this course, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Next, you'll need a GitHub account. GitHub is where we'll host and collaborate on our code, and this can only be done if you create a free account. And finally, you'll need a text editor of some sort. This is the tool or the app that you'll use to write code. There are plenty on the market, and if you Google text editor, you will see that that is the case. I personally recommend Visual Studio Code because it's free, lightweight, developer friendly, and at least in my experience, it's pretty powerful. Now, right at the end of this course is a simple article which will help you find these different tools. I'm going to just briefly walk through them and show you how you'd get up and running. So to create a GitHub account, you'll go to github.com and you'll see a page similar to this where you can sign up by entering your email, or you can click the sign up button on the right and enter your details here. Pretty straightforward, and I don't think this will be too difficult for you to do. Now, installing Git on your local machine differs depending on the operating system, Windows, macOS, or Linux. My suggestion is to just Google install Git, and you'll probably find this page, which is the installing Git page from Git's own documentation. And you can see it's split depending on operating system. So installing on Linux, on Windows, and Mac OS is here too in the middle. There it is. So this is the easiest place to find how you can install it depending on your operating system. Now, if you'd like, you can also consider installing GitHub Desktop. This is a different way of working with GitHub from your local machine. And if you prefer point and click experiences as opposed to typing commands into a terminal, then this might be something you prefer. I personally use GitHub Desktop quite a lot. I think it's very nice, very user-friendly, and you certainly can use this if you'd like to. I will show a little bit of how GitHub Desktop works during this course so you can get an idea of how it works, and we'll compare that to using the Git CLI in a terminal on your machine. And finally, text editor. This is an example of Visual Studio Code, which you can find at code.visualstudio.com. Here's an example of how it looks on my local machine. So here's my repository called GitHub Actions Learning. This is a repository I created for my course on GitHub Actions. And these are folders here. And if I click on any one of them, you'll see that there are all sorts of files inside them. And depending on the coding language, the colors and the text is changed depending on what type of language. So Visual Studio picks that up. And you also have standalone files down here at the bottom, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So that's it. Those are the tools that you'll want to use if you want to get the most out of this course. As I mentioned in the middle there is an article at the end of the course which will help you find those tools if you need some help finding them. So just go have a look at the end of the course if you need some guidance. Get them set up and ready to go, and then we can start doing some learning. So in the next section, we're going to start by introducing Git and looking at exactly what it is and how it works. I'll see you there. Thank you for taking the time to work through this video. I hope that you found it particularly useful. Remember, the entire course is available here on YouTube and also on Udemy, and I've linked the Udemy one in the description below. You can also find my course on GitHub Actions on Udemy if you're interested in diving deeper into GitHub Actions. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking the video and perhaps subscribing to the channel to look for future updates. Thank you so much for your time, and have a lovely day further.